station.
Good morning. Good morning. This is John Dingfelder. You're listening to WMNF in Tampa, and this show is Down and Dirty. And Happy New Year to everybody, including we've got Skip at the board, and Anthony will be answering calls. Good morning, Joe. The new year, 2026, hard to believe. I've got two great guests with me here in the studio this morning. Start with Robin Lockett. Robin is the grand poobah of Florida Rising, the executive director, I think, and we'll talk about what Florida Rising is and all of that. Good morning, Robin Lockett.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you've been on this show. You've been on a couple other shows on this station. We're glad to have you, a friend of WMNF. And Stephanie Pointer. Good morning to you, Steph.
Good morning. Good morning.
Stephanie is the president of the Tampa Homeowners Association of Neighborhoods, also known as THAN, THAN, and she's also on the City of Tampa Budget Committee, last I checked.
Yep.
Probably 100 other things that I haven't mentioned. She's a proud mama and et cetera, et cetera. I saw you with your children recently. I could tell that. So, ladies, Happy New Year. How was your 2025? How was your New Year, Robin?
Very restful. I've been off since the second week of November.
Okay.
Long vacation. I have not slept this much. So my body needed it.
All right. Well, you better get geared up for this busy 2026.
And it's going to be busy, too.
It is going to be busy. On Florida Rising, let's talk about that for a minute. What is that organization? Where did it come from? What do you guys focus on? What do you do?
We are a lot. So I am the regional director of the Tampa Bay region. The Tampa Bay region consists of Hillsborough County and St. Pete, Pinellas County. So I have two offices. Florida Rising came up. I previously was employed with an organization called Organized Florida. Mm-hmm. Organized Florida and organization down south, New Florida Majority, got together and merged and birthed Florida Rising. Okay. And we've been in existence, this organization, but for probably the last 5 years.
All right. And what's your mission statement? What do y'all focus on?
Everything. Community. We are a community-based organization. We're membership-based, and for anybody that's listening, our membership is $25 a year, and we do great work.
You got a website called?
FloridaRising.org.
There you go.
And our mission is that we go out in the community. We do a lot of canvassing. We go out in the community. We fight on issues that concern the citizens, and those issues turn into policy changes. I really focus on how do we get things done, not just by yelling, but just being very strategic and doing policy changes, creating policy changes. And when those policy changes happen, that's a win for us, right? But during the fight, the goal is that with our membership, all through the year, we're fighting on issues. It's an educational part for the membership because the membership now knows what electors are behind us. So when electoral time comes, we do GOTV. GOTV is Get Out the Vote, converging in the community with door knocks and so forth. They're educated now to know who's with them and who's not. Mm-hmm. So it's always a revolving educational tool for the community also.
I remember a year or two ago, Lynn and I took a little, I think we...
Bus ride.
Yeah, Lynn jumped on the bus. I rode along in the car, and we went up to Orlando on a particular issue, and yes. Florida Rising, I think, had a couple of busloads of folks, advocating for that particular issue on that day. I was very impressed. Last year, 2025, you mentioned a success. What's a success either on either side of the bay that you were happy with, that you were pleased about?
Last year was the first year since our existence that we had an opportunity to just really focus on educating our organizers, to make them better organizers, and also with our membership.
So a lot of training.
Correct. A lot of training and so forth. Our win was that, unfortunately, Gwen Henderson passed and her seat came open.
Okay.
So that was a surprise for us. And
that was Tampa City Council.
I'm sorry. Yes, yeah. Tampa City Council. And we went to the marching board, and Naya was selected. Our membership, they vote, and they decided on who they wanted to support. Now,
going back to that election, we were just talking before the show. There was like a dozen candidates. It was surprising to pretty much everybody. We had a couple of shows here in the station with all 12 candidates to start with, and then with the runoff candidates, including Reverend Scott and Nia Young. How did you pick Nia, Ms. Young? Did you pick her out of that group of 12, or did you wait until the group of 2?
Oh, no, we were brave enough to pick her out of the group of 12.
And was there an interview process?
There's interviews. There's our membership sends questionnaires out. There's interviews, and we did a forum.
Okay. And you were successful with her.
We knocked a lot of doors, and over 3,000 doors 3,000 doors for the general, the primary, and over 3,500 doors for the general. And we made over 10,000 phone calls.
Wow. Yeah, and then on a city council race, especially a district race, that's got to have a huge impact.
But I'm sorry.
Yeah,
and that's
please.
The only way you're going to really touch and get the feedback, because from the community, right? So, people could say a lot and say nothing. But when you're knocking on someone's door, because I had to question my organizers, I was like, are these really the responses? They say yes. When you knock on doors and people are giving you feedback, and every day we go out and canvass, we come back with feedback from the organizers or from the door knockers. And it was overwhelmingly, and no pun intended, that people were looking for a change. And they were excited. Now, with the runoff, they were excited about Naya. With the in the primary, it was one of two. It was always 3 people, but Naya was the most consistent.
Interesting.
And that's how I knew. I kept telling people she is going to win this. Wow. She is going to win this, because numbers don't lie. You can send out all the mailers.
Yeah, and not to interrupt him, but I thought Tom Scott would win, and I had served with Tom, and Reverend Scott is a good man, Bishop Scott. Yeah. Good man, heart's in the right place, that sort of thing. Tom is slightly older than me, which is getting pretty old these days. I had my birthday 2 days ago. But, Tom's a little bit older than me, and it seems like age might be a factor. I don't know. What do you guys think?
No.
Well, seriously, Steph.
No.
Oof.
Steph.
We get to a point where we have to embrace the young people. We have to pull in the younger people into our city and into being active, and we cannot ignore them. I really honestly believe that that we have to spread the love in everything that we do. But we really do. I believe that having younger people participating in the process, when we have 2 people, her and Guido are close in age, and I think that people seeing them on council is really important. That's one of the reasons why I pushed so hard for the raise for council, so that we could have younger folks on there who weren't already set in stone, who aren't already financially.
RAISE.
Yes.
I had been pushing for a raise for council too, because I thought it would up the quality of council members, because that way somebody. Really, it's just about a full-time job.
Right. It is absolutely
It is.
If you're doing a good job, it's a full-time job.
Yeah, well, you can ask my wife about that, and she would agree with you, because, for 10 years I sat there, and when I first started on council, they paid us, $30,000. Right. And then it went up to like 35 or 40, and which really meant that I needed to straddle. I continued to practice law and do council.
Right.
So I do 40 hours of council and then 20 hours of law. But that doesn't work for everybody.
Well, that went from 54 to 75-ish.
And it's not exorbitant.
Right.
It's not
No.
$170,000
No.
that
Exactly.
they pay code enforcement managers or anything
Exactly.
like that.
But they should be paid because it is
Right.
it is a full-time job, and people have very high expectations of your quality of work, right? And it's not deemed on money, but you want to be rewarded because of the time that you're taking away from your family,
Exactly.
and it is a full-time job.
You don't want to have people be tempted, to do something illegal because they're not making enough money, and that did happen to a county commissioner a couple of years ago. Who got tempted by money.
I mean, as somebody who reads the city council agenda every single week, it is a solid 3 to 4 hours to read that agenda, and you still miss stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, you cannot catch everything, but just reading the agenda. That doesn't mean having the meetings about it with staff or asking questions or anything else.
Do you guys think that all Tampa City Council members read the agenda?
Woo.
You can say yes or no.
Well,
you can say yes or no.
I will tell you this.
Without naming names.
Over the years, I have seen people, what they talked about, Cliff Notes. It used to be Cliff Notes.
Yeah.
I've seen people who read the pointer notes.
Yeah.
Read the pointer.
Yeah.
So, mine's a little bit more interesting than the regular agenda sometimes.
Robin, you paused when I said that maybe age was an issue with people not voting for Tom and voting for Naya. You seem to have some hesitation or disagreement.
So I never. So Naya is younger, right? But that wasn't in my mind, and that could have been one of the factors with our membership. I haven't even asked them, but I think that people were looking for different. Mm-hmm. They were looking for a new voice. Mm-hmm. Been there, done that. You bought the T-shirt, and you're looking around in your community, and your community still looks the same.
Right.
And you held a lot of high positions. So again, I think they were looking at new. And a different opportunity. Let's see what someone else can do, versus Bishop Scott.
Okay.
I completely agree.
Interesting.
With that.
Well, I don't want to obsess on that, but it wasn't a very interesting race. I think now we've seen that reflected around the country,
Right.
Specifically in New York City with Mamdani. A very young man with no specific government experience. But
his talking points are on point. Just how he presents, and he can talk. I heard something the other day. He was mentioning a rap with Jada Kiss in his speech, and that because those small things would rive up a young person that is listening to them. So I think that, and just let me make this one notation. Over 5,000 people came out to vote in the primary, and a little over that, I think, came out to vote in the general. Don't downgrade that, and don't dismiss it,
Right?
Because this was a special election for one district.
Yeah.
And I'm very proud of East Tampa, District 5, to come out and vote in a special election with that number.
That's
it's
important.
A great starting point. Mm-hmm. But when you hear people say, only, no, don't disgrace that.
Right. Because of the percentage compared to the total registered voters, blah, blah,
Right.
blah. But if you're listening, we appreciate that. And this is Down and Dirty WMNF. 813-239-9663 is the call-in number. And we'd be glad for you to join the conversation. So speaking of District 5, in the city of Tampa, just read an article in the Tampa Bay Times this morning that spoke to the redistricting of all of the districts in the city of Tampa, which they apparently do every election. We have an election a year or so.
27.
About a year and a half. We have an election coming. That would be the mayor's election, and all 7 city council members are up for election. Also, all those seats. I'm kind of bumbling here, but anyway. So the point being is they go through a redistricting process. Has nothing to do with all the redistricting you've been hearing about nationwide. With partisan redistricting, et cetera. The process is the City of Tampa City County Planning Commission is delegated the task to look at the numbers, look at the population shifts, and see, what might need, movement and that sort of thing.
It's more of a tweak than a complete remodel.
Yeah, that's a good term. So in this case, they've identified that the bulk of the population growth in the city of Tampa is up in the north end, in the New Tampa / North Tampa area.
That's where the growth is?
Yeah, which I found. No,
well, they may say that, but what you have to understand is that some of the numbers get skewed for other areas.
Let me clarify. What they're looking at, I believe, is registered voters. Okay, so you might say, well, there's a lot of people moving downtown, Encore, et cetera, et cetera. Right. They might not be registering to vote. So I think that that's what they have to go on.
But has growth happened? And I live in New Tampa.
Right.
Well, that's what I read in the article, and I can't speak to it. But I would assume the demographer, they have a specific demographer at the Planning Commission. Now, Robin, you have an opportunity in January and February you and your folks to attend these meetings,
get feedback,
and ask about these numbers and question these numbers and do the research yourself, which you always do. So, but let's just talk about the article, because I thought the article was interesting. Based upon this shift, okay, they need to balance out the districts, because when the election comes, all four of the city of Tampa districts need to be approximately the same population size, population of registered voters. And anyway, so they've got 4 different maps that they're proposing. Like you say, Stephanie, it's tweak it this direction, tweak it that direction. Y'all need to look at those maps and chime in. Robin?
You see this baffled look.
I know, you've got this baffled look.
And that's interesting. So when they presented it at the city, I had questions. Someone came down and presented the maps with the city, and they did indicate that they were going to have community meetings, which I look forward to. The one thing that stuck out, so you say registered voters, and now when you change your driver's license and so forth, you're automatically registered. So I have questions about that.
Sure.
Whether you exercise that right. A lot of people are registered and not exercising their right.
Absolutely.
So that's my question on that.
That is a huge.
Yeah, you don't have to be an active voter, but as long as you're a registered voter, they're gonna look at that.
Right. And one thing, so in my mind, just visually looking, a lot of the growth has been down south and center, right? That's where everything is. The second thing is I found interesting was Beulah Baptist Church, one of our large voting locations. Black voting.
Where is that?
Cypress.
Cypress and
West Tampa.
Okay.
Cypress and Boulevard, off of Cypress and Boulevard. Our black church. A voting block.
That's been part of District 5.
Correct. Was moving to District 6. Right. And I found that interesting.
The West Tampa Latin District, as we typically refer to it.
Well, now District 6 has Beach Park in it.
Yeah, I know.
And it's gotten some very large chunks of South Tampa, and they're gathering more of South Tampa because where's the growth?
Yeah.
And I would argue that your registration population in New Tampa is larger because you got more single-family homes, which means that populations like South Tampa, south of Gandy, where they built 8,000 multifamily units, apartments, over the last 5 years or so, those folks aren't necessarily coming here and changing their driver's license.
Right.
Which means that they're not registering to vote immediately. It's not automatically happening. They also include MacDill Air Force Base, which you never know where folks who live on base
actually. When you're in the military,
do
you register locally?
You don't. Not always.
You're
it just depends.
Family.
I mean, when my husband did not register to vote in Tampa until 2015. So we had been here for 3 years. We were still voting in
What did
Kentucky.
you guys do? Do mail-in ballots?
Yeah. So, I mean, we had always registered. We had always stayed registered to vote. So you don't. So that population, and Carol Ann Bennett has done some demographic research on this and done
she was your vice president.
She's my compadre in crime. She's my.
So speaking of registered to vote and vote by mail, Robin, I just wanted to mention this. I was talking to Craig Latimer the other day, Supervisor of Elections for Hillsborough, but this would apply to anybody who's listening in any of the counties around the area, is under what I would call a stupid state law. They drop you from getting your we used to call it absentee ballot,
right.
vote by mail ballot. They drop you unless you specifically ask for it.
Correct.
Yep.
I don't know, do you know how often they drop? I don't know.
I believe it between every election.
Yeah. Because
Yeah.
and the interesting thing is, my son, they sent my son a letter saying, hey,
Craig probably did. Yeah.
yes, the supervisor of elections did. So your vote by mail, I don't know whether to say it expired or whatever, but it was giving him instructions on signing up again. So they did send a notification, but you have to do it
Yeah,
every election.
Exactly.
And you got to read that junk mail, that
Yes.
piece of junk mail, and make sure that
Yes.
you got a mom who's reminds you to go do that.
100%.
This one does.
But yeah, both of you.
This one does,
Good
for sure.
moms, good moms.
Yeah.
I'm
But
on
my point is, and everybody who's listening, and tell your friends, if you're sitting there waiting for that vote by mail absentee ballot form, and you're not getting it, chances are you didn't ask for it.
Right.
So
Right.
go to the trouble of picking up the phone or going online
Yep.
and specifically asking for it. I think there's a special election coming up, a Senate seat.
Yes,
for
Jay Collins vacated. So
Yeah.
What's that seat? Where is it?
I don't know what
I
the
think
number
it's
is. It's South
15.
Tampa, that's for sure, because I'm tickled pink to
I
have
think it's
somebody
15.
new in that
I think
seat.
it's 15.
Why did
somebody who
he
cares.
resign?
He's lieutenant governor.
Yeah, he's
Oh, he's
lieutenant
lieutenant
governor.
governor.
Yeah.
They're now pushing for.
Well, now he can do nothing as lieutenant governor.
Yeah.
I'll say nothing else.
No. That's fine. We're down and dirty. We want to hear what you have to say. Stephanie always holds her tongue on these things.
Yeah, right.
If you're just tuning in, you're listening to Down and Dirty. We'd ask you to join the conversation. It's 813-239-9663. We've got Anthony answering the phone, Skip on the board. And our guest today is Robin Lockett. She's, regional director, thank you, of an organization doing good work all across the Bay Area called Florida Rising. And we have Stephanie Pointer, who is, I'm just going to say, a neighborhood activist, a neighborhood terrorist,
Whatever you want to call it.
who I'm very proud of. My last venture onto city council in 2019, and somewhere along the line, Stephanie popped up and, I know, there was a zoning in her neighborhood that she was
Across the street from me.
that she got PO'd about. And it's been hell ever since.
There's a lot of people in this city who wish that they had never built those apartments across the street from me. I guarantee you that.
As they say, that they kick that hornet's nest,
right.
and those hornets won't go back in the
Except,
nest.
please, Lord, let this woman.
But
move
Stephanie was very active in the South of Gandy group, and then I'm going to take a little credit. And I said, Stephanie, we have a citywide organization called THAN, Tampa Homeowners Association of Neighborhoods, which is an umbrella organization for all the neighborhoods. And I said, Stephanie, they need new leadership. And she jumped right in with no hesitation, got elected a couple years ago, and has done a great job ever since. So there you go.
Well, thank you. I appreciate your
Well,
vote of confidence for my babysitting job.
We appreciate you and anybody who knows how hard you work on these city issues appreciates you, because you're a volunteer, and and like you say, I think you're there to speak truth to power.
That's right. Amen.
Yeah. And also that budget committee gives you access to, not special access, but gives you an unusual insight, and you can ask city staff questions about the budget,
right
from the budget committee, which I think is great. And I know the budget committee didn't used to meet, but right around budget time. But I think you're meeting a lot more now.
We meet monthly now. The second Friday of every month in the Sister Cities room, which is at 315
And that's
East
a public
Kennedy
meeting.
Boulevard. Yes, it is a public meeting. Anybody's welcome to attend and watch. I encourage City Council to come and attend and watch, because we get presentations from staff and from different departments that can be 2-3 hours long.
Wow.
Where City Council gets them for 15, 30
And
minutes,
it's a noticed
an hour.
meeting, so council
Yes.
members could go in there more than one,
Absolutely.
in my humble legal opinion.
No, absolutely. So I do encourage folks to come and listen in on those meetings, because I learn all kinds of nifty things that I never would have heard before.
So, let's talk about 2025, some of the issues that you've jumped on, Stephanie Pointer, and the city of Tampa. Some of the things that have bothered you, and some of the fans' accomplishments, this past year. Then we'll go to where are we going next year?
Well, as I always tell people, I'm not Than's mama. I'm Than's babysitter. Okay. So I can't make choices for Than. I can make choices that I think are good for us. And you won't ever see me, very rarely will you ever see me go up to city council and say, I'm the president of Than, because they all know who I am and they don't care.
And I don't think Than endorses candidates.
No, we don't. Yes. We really don't. But as this past year, probably the most important thing, and I have to say that Carol Ann Bennett took it and ran with it, was the Tampa Comprehensive Plan. They were working on the revision for it. And Carol Ann and I had been to several meetings. They had developers at several meetings. Nobody was really happy with it. And there were some things done and said at the Planning Commission board that directly contradicted, and they asked for things that directly contradicted what City Council had been working for and towards for the last 5 or 6 years. One of them was to ask for more density in the coastal high hazard area. I'm like, my God, we just did a study.
Let's tighten up on that. The developers, I would guess, were asking for more density in the coastal high hazard area.
One person.
Yeah, probably a good friend of mine, right?
No, not at all. Actually, it's funny, but no, not at all.
Yeah, I meant that sarcastically.
But the Planning Commission board actually asked for that to be put in there. It was like this river of water running one way, and somebody put a duck in there trying to swim upstream, so that was taken out. But
it doesn't make it's never made any sense.
No, it did not make sense
from an evacuation perspective, from a public safety perspective.
Exactly.
We've got plenty of density in the flooding areas. We saw that sadly in 2023
exactly
with Helene and Milton,
right?
And we ended up with a lot of problems because of the density in the coast.
And the comprehensive the Planning Commission staff did an amazing job of addressing that in the comprehensive plan, but there were still some speed bumps and some things that weren't addressed. And City Council said, "You did a good job, but this is not what we want," and they sent them back to the drawing board. When they came in May,
what kind of
August.
vote? 4-3? 5-2?
I think everybody voted to send it back because they weren't happy with it. There were some things that they wanted to have cleared up and cleaned up, transit corridors, things like that. Which communities want density versus which communities don't want density. They did, I think, 5 or 6 public meetings. They probably had over 1,000 people attend those meetings. At least.
Robin, speaking of transit corridors, last week I got on a little high horse about the Route 1, the Hart Route 1, which comes up Florida Avenue, and I give kudos to Councilwoman Lynn Hurtak, because a year and a half ago in the budget, she jumped in and said, you know what, let's throw $1 million approximately to Hart to make the Route 1 up Florida Avenue all the way out to USF free for 1 year. And what has been the response in the community, Robin?
Oh, I think numbers show everything. The ridership is up double the amount, triple the amount.
Yes.
So I think that...
Have you guys taken it? Did you take the one?
Oh, yeah.
So listen, I grew up catching the bus. And I have not taken it because, again, I'm on a different side of town. But
I want to tell you, Lynn and I took it a couple of times, and it's great because we live right off Florida Avenue. And that's not why
correct. Correct.
That's not why I'm advocating for it, because most of the time I'm driving. But there were a few times when I said, "Oh, we're going to go downtown. It's going to be a lot of parking problems downtown.
100%.
Let's take that number one." We took it, and we could hardly find a seat.
Right.
Those buses were full, and the people, a lot of the people who were on it, you could look at them. Sorry to say, but they needed that free fare. You know,
100%. TICO is having another rate hike. Housing is unaffordable. So every little bit that food is expensive, every little bit that you can allow someone to save money is a great thing. I grew up catching a bus. When I first started working, I caught 5 buses and walked from 5 buses to work.
Wow.
And transportate, and it was all
impressive.
stemmed on the buses not being in sync and rotating on a quick schedule. But I talked from Sulphur Springs. I lived in Sulphur Springs. Called 5 buses to work and still walk from the West Shore Mall to the Howard Franklin every morning.
Wow.
I worked at Travelers Insurance, 5100 North Kennedy Boulevard.
Yeah, I know.
Still know the address.
My dad used to live right by there. I know exactly where that is.
The busing system has always had a problem. So I think this is a great opportunity to start. Can City Council fix the Heartline problem? No. But where they can find money to alleviate that, I welcome it.
It's a nice little bandage. I was fussing at a couple of council members at my show last week because they were on separately, but I was fussing at them separately, including Alan Condenin, because I said, look, it's worked.
Yeah.
Right.
It's worked for an entire calendar year, and now apparently they're going to start charging fare again.
Yeah.
And why do that, especially to that group of people who really need
But
it?
the real question is, why aren't we writing grants for that? When I lived in Louisville, I rode the bus the whole time I was in college. I rode the bus to school. And most of the summers that I lived there, I took the bus for free because they wrote grants, governmental grants. I mean, I asked the same question about other grant processes. We're paying to do the land development code right now. We paid for that out of our pocket, but my girlfriend, who's in upper level management at the city of Louisville, they got a $7 million HUD grant to rewrite their code. Why didn't we get that?
Wow.
Yeah. So, but I really think the key is transportation in the city.
It is.
It honestly is, because we're not going to be able to put that housing genie back in the bottle. But our transportation cost is 23% of most people's income in the city of Tampa.
Yeah.
It's 9% nationally.
Nationwide.
So we really, if we could get a handle on that and get it to where we have buses and we have transportation, it's really going to make a big difference for the people at the bottom of the barrel, but it's going to make a big difference for everybody.
Yeah. I mean,
I would take the bus.
Everyone would win. And you'll have less traffic on the roadway, but everyone would win. So I think that it's important that something comes out of this, right? It wasn't a unanimous vote initially when Lynn presented this plan, right? But it was a unanimous vote recently, to continue it or something of that nature.
Well, but I don't think they are continuing it. I think
No, they're not doing. So what?
they said they were increasing
the frequency. Yes.
But why? It was already coming every 15 minutes.
Well, now it's supposed to come every 15 minutes, but so they're trying to pick it up, and they did get grants for new buses. Kathy Castor brought in grants for new buses. So we just have to be consistent.
The city didn't put more money for that program?
No, not to keep the free bus.
The free bus is gone. And I would encourage you guys to advocate for that,
Just
although
imagine.
I'm not supposed to advocate for anything here. But anyway, that's another story.
Yeah.
I think they wanted a study also, just because some of the council members want to know, how Lynn chose Route 1 versus another bus. So I think, and there was no study. I don't think there was a study done. So I think, just getting a possible another study.
Well, listen, if you can do Route 1 for $1 million, and they have, as you know, Steph, you both know, a $2 billion budget. Back when I was on council, it used to be a $1 billion budget. Now it's a $2 billion budget. I think you can find $1 million for a couple of routes.
Listen,
and we should, just like you point out, Robin, an east-west route too. That's
correct.
The number one,
Exactly.
the big north-south route.
If the administration is talking about a $400 million police station,
Amen.
then I want to see how they pull that off.
Yeah.
And you can use that money to fund these things. You know, the priorities have to be set, and the priorities have to be clear, and it's for the people.
Well, let's talk about that police station for a minute, because that has piqued my interest. Right now, TPD's, downtown in that old Big Blue building. I'm sure it's not perfect, but I've been in the building, and it's not horrific. It's not falling apart. I don't think it's leaking or anything like that.
Maybe a little bit, but not enough.
They got umbrellas. They got umbrellas.
Not $400 million worth.
Yeah. So, but that goes back to Hannah Street. I was kind of opposed to the construction of Hannah Street, especially the way it came down. And originally it was supposed to be, what was it, like a $10 or $20 million project
that was never put out for bid.
Right, under Buckhorn.
Right.
And then all of a sudden under Castor, it becomes $100 million project.
Mm-hmm.
Woo. We need to pick up and move people out of downtown City Hall and move them up to Hannah Street. What have you guys found at Hannah Street? Because I know what I've found.
It's a cave. It's a vacuumous cave that's only about half full, if that. We have asked and asked and asked
empty.
How many people actually are in there. I have been in that building for a Fludra and wandered the building for 30, 45 minutes looking for a human being to make me a copy.
Uh-huh.
I mean, really? It is such a waste of space. Yeah. It is absolutely
and I wondered
ridiculous.
this morning, I was thinking to myself, well, if TPD needs to move out, why don't they take a half of those people and move them into Hannah Street?
The TPD also wants a $40 million forensics lab.
Oh, yeah. That's been approved, right?
No, it has not.
Okay.
But they tried to bond it not a month or so ago. Yeah. I'm like, wait, we haven't even broken ground. It hasn't been approved by City Council. How can you bond this? And, the problem is this administration, this was just in La Gaceta last week, this administration, since Jane Castor has been mayor, has went from having $600 million worth of debt to $1.6 billion. So she has increased our debt by $1 billion. Yet, you should have seen everybody crying the blues that we raised the mobility fees last week. That left $9 million on the table for the last 2 years just from single-family home development alone.
Yeah. Oh,
Just
they were
from
crying too.
single-family homes.
It was unfair. They were, and I didn't understand it.
Oh, the developers.
Yeah,
Right,
the developers
yeah.
were coming down
And we have got fees in the city. We've got 2 fee studies right now sitting on the shelf that just came in.
Let's hone in on this. We're talking impact fees, basically.
The impact fees.
They're impact fees. We're not looking to put fees on our current
not for our
taxpayers.
citizens at all. This is not going to impact our current citizens. This only impacts new development and
so
changes
a
in
new
land
single-family
use.
home.
Yes.
A big McMansion.
Yes.
So let's say I'm a young couple. I tear down a house in South Tampa, and I want to build this, big 2-story, 4,000 square foot, new house, which has happened a lot.
A lot.
So what sort of increase are they looking at?
It's been $1,277 since 1989, and they just raised it. I think the first raise is maybe $1,000 or something like that. The county charges $9,300.
Wow.
$1,200, $9,300. Big difference.
So they're going to do it, increase it incrementally?
Yes, it'll be increased until 2029. And I think it gets up to about $6,000, if I remember correctly. I'm still looking at the
bottom
numbers.
line on that is, so the developers say, that's got to be passed on to that home buyer.
They pass everything else.
If they're charging
but they're paying $1 million for that house anyway.
If they're paying $500,000 for a house today, and we change those impact fees, guess what? They're not going to change. They're not going to charge $510,000 for that house because nobody's going to pay it. Mm-hmm. It's coming out of the development pocket.
You think?
And yeah.
I wouldn't think so.
Well, but here's the thing: you can put $510,000 price tag on it, but guess what? You got to find somebody to pay it.
Yeah.
Something's only worth as much as somebody's willing to pay for it.
But if it's across the board and every single house in the city of Tampa has a $10,000
but the county
bump,
charges $9,300 in the urban areas. In the suburban areas, out from
further out.
Yes, $13,000.
Yeah.
We're charging 10% of what they're getting out in the county.
Yeah. Robin, has your group taken a position on any of these or these issues?
No, I've followed Stephanie's lead on this one.
You got enough on your plate.
Yeah,
right?
I follow. Yeah, I can't be all to everybody,
No,
so
can't.
I follow. A lot of stuff I follow Stephanie's lead on it, and if we talk about it in I say yes, then, I agree with her. Because,
Yeah.
again, I think they should have just ripped the Band-Aid off and just
Done it
charged
all
it.
at once.
But now they're doing it in
Incrementally.
increments, and, that's an issue.
Now, here's the other thing is they cried. I know their routine. They say, "Oh, you're going to hurt affordable housing by increasing these fees." But I do believe that most of these type of impact fees you can exclude
Correct.
affordable housing, or you can soften the blow to affordable housing.
And there are ways
did
to
they
do that.
that?
No, they did not, because this has got to go to the state. It's been proven at a high priority. It was a high need, and I mean we've got other things
So it
that
still has to be
still
approved
hasn't
in
been addressed.
Tallahassee?
But what we have to take into consideration is that oh my goodness, I lost my little train of thought. But
It's
the
the
bottom
new-
line
it's
is,
the
it's
new
not
year.
the end of the world. These are things. Here's who's been paying the difference. We have.
Well, this is just-
the
right,
citizens
the
who pay
citizens.
their
Yeah.
taxes.
So
who
somebody
pay
moves it-
taxes on their
right.
land have been paying the difference. That's why we have potholes big enough to swallow up smart cars. That's why we have intersections that do not have left turn lanes that are more dangerous. That's why we don't have
Yeah.
enough sidewalks going to our to our elementary schools. So if they don't pay it, and that's the cost. If they're not covering the cost, we're supplementing.
Yeah.
And we shouldn't have to. We should not be supplementing. And when we asked city staff how much, what fees do we charge in the city? Do you know they gave us 600 pages worth of fees? 600 pages, and many of them. You know who kept up on their fees? Anybody want to guess? Who kept up on their fees and what they charged? TPD. TPD was on it. They make sure that when they're billing out, they're billing out well.
Oh.
But we had this fee from 1989.
Oh, I see, like off-duty cops.
Exactly.
Off-duty cops, that sort of thing.
I think they should be accommodated, and we should be doing that. But why aren't we doing that citywide?
Mm-hmm.
Why is every department not charging what it costs us? Not one penny more than it cost us. It should cost what it cost us.
Speaking of which, let's jump into that subject, because I know you've been working hard on this, but apparently the city sends a lot of its employees to go help with parades, Gasparilla and other parades that are, quote, co-sponsored by the city, and as long as you're co-sponsored, we can go, send stormwater employees and other employees again,
yes,
who you've paid taxes for. You might not give a hooey. As a matter of fact, I sleep with this lady that really can't stand Gasparilla. Oh, that would be my wife.
Yes.
And no, but she hates Gasparilla. She's always thought it was silly. But the fact that the stormwater,
and it's the background of it.
Right.
It's the what?
It's the background of what Gasparilla stands for.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's the biggest thing, and we're celebrating that.
But our stormwater.
You mean white
crews-
men and brown face?
Yeah.
They, from my understanding, used to come to the city and drink, rape, and everything else.
Rape and pillage.
Yeah.
Never a good thing.
So anyway, tell us a little bit about the stormwater employees and what you discovered.
We have
and you had a cadre of people working on that.
Yeah, we have two 4-man stormwater crews in the city of Tampa that are responsible for digging ditches and clearing things and making sure that
That's
we are
it?
ready for
eight people.
That's what I'm told. Okay. And my buddy Jamie Adair, who got flooded out after Milton. He did a whole bunch of research and pulled a bunch of public records, and what we found was 50 days per year, one of those 2 4-man crews is spending setting up and tearing down for events. When City Council questioned it, they received a memo from Chief Burkhall that said, we are protecting the safety of our city by pulling those people from their positions to come and set up and tear down.
TPD said that?
Yeah. Yeah.
What did it have to do with TPD?
It was a memo.
It wasn't
it was
stormwater.
safety. And
because it was barricades?
I
Was it
guess,
barricades?
moving barricades. But I would argue that bottom line is when people's houses are flooding because the storm drains haven't been cleaned in 7 or 8 years, 10 years or more. When Jamie Adair went out looking at his storm drains when he started, he found that they were half full of dirt and water. Well, guess where the water was? It was in his house.
Yeah.
And so, we've got to make sure that city staff is doing what they are paid to do, which is clean out stormwater drains.
So you pointed this out. I think at a minimum, I know La Gazzetta has joined with you on that, but I don't know if the Times has joined in on any of that.
Well, the mayor told me on budget day to my face that she was going to stop doing that. And after that, Chief Burkhoff sent out a memo. Now, that's my word and her against her word. And,
I wonder what happened the other night. We had this, what is it? The ReliQuest Bowl Parade in Ybor. I wonder what happened.
I actually asked about
MLK
that.
Parade.
I asked about
the MLK Parade's coming up.
They do pull for the MLK Parade. I did ask about the football games, and they said that mobility generally does that. As a matter of fact, when I asked that question at council, the mobility director yelled out, "No." And so I went back and asked him later on. Now, I've never seen a city staffer actually yell and said answer during my public comment, but those are mostly cones. And, in the lightweight barricades where the parades, it's heavier, whatever. I don't know what they're called. But
let's go to Gasparilla for a second, Robin.
Right.
Is the bottom line is it's pretty much up and down Bayshore and a little bit downtown. A lot of people, don't go. It's for a lot of tourists. I think a lot of tourists and perhaps, South Tampa folks. So, you seem to take a little extra offense at that one.
I mean, you attend, when I was little, younger rather, we attended it, and my mom would take us there and to the parade and so forth. But as I've gotten older and understand the background of it, my understanding of it, I don't participate in it.
Yeah. For probably 100 years or thereabouts.
The exclusion of it. There was a big ordeal several years back in regards to them being, them excluding blacks and others from being
in the parade. Mayor Sandy Friedman was the first one who really put her foot down on that.
Yeah.
And it probably, when she was done being mayor, she ran for Congress, and it probably cost her an opportunity to serve in Congress.
Wow.
Because she had put her foot down. And she said, we're not doing that anymore. And it just so happened it was a Super Bowl year. And it was the first Super Bowl I think we had in Tampa. And so she said, no, Gasparilla, we're going to integrate this parade. We're going to have black crews. We're going to have Latin crews. Right. Women.
Good.
Because women weren't allowed to be in the crews either. It was only, the white men crews. And Sandy Friedman said no. And then the crew that ran Gasparilla said they didn't back down either. And they said, fine, we won't do Gasparilla. And so they created this thing called Bambaleo. You remember that, Skip? All right. And so they did this Bambaleo thing where the city took charge of it, and they invited all these other crews, women crews, multi-ethnic crews and that sort of thing. And it was fine. It wasn't perfect because it was the first year.
Right.
But it was fine. And then kudos to Sandy Friedman, because the next year, the crew of, what's the crew called?
I don't know.
Anyway, the big Poobah crew that does Gasparilla, they came around and said, okay, we will allow other crews and we will integrate our own crews. Now, I don't think they've integrated very much. To be honest, I think if you look at those floats, you don't see a whole lot of color of any sort.
Right.
Except for, like I say, painted white faces.
But you know who is absolutely excluded from Gasparilla? Everybody on council except for the chair.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, I've experienced that.
I find that just absolutely.
Yeah, it's
only the chair is allowed to participate. Now, all the other
The only way
parades,
I ever got in the Gasparilla parade was to jump on another float. So Goods and I, Orlando Goods and I, Goods was part of one of these crews.
Yeah, one of those crews.
And so he said, "Come on, John, you can join us." And so I jumped on that float. We probably had better music and more fun anyway.
It's not surprising to me at all, because the city of Tampa ignores city council. They ignore the fact that we have 8 elected officials in our city. If you look at all their social media, they never mention city council. They never tag city council.
And that's sad, because the people,
it is.
And you can see it in the policy and the interaction and so forth, and it's the community that loses.
Right.
Somehow or another, the charter got changed, 40-something, 50 years ago to create this strong mayor form of government in the city of Tampa. And it's really much stronger than any other city or community around that I'm familiar with. Clearwater has a very strong city council. St. Petersburg has sort of more 50-50. And actually, I think the mayor goes and attends city council meetings, which frankly would be...
I think that's good.
I've encouraged her to do that.
Yeah, I think that's good.
They never do it. They never do it. They do it once a year.
That's right.
And they show up and they give their state of the city address.
And run out the door.
Run out the door before there's any question.
She's been there one other time.
But can't that be changed in the charter?
Absolutely.
And you know what? We got a charter review. We got a charter review committee coming up. I'm so excited about that.
All right. If you're just tuning in, the hour has just flown by, and then we wanted to talk about 30 other things.
No, I told you.
Give us a call if you want to join in the last minute or two, 813-239-9663. We've been chatting with Robin Lockett of Florida Rising and with Stephanie Pointer of FAN and other wonderful things. Stephanie, I want to give a shout out to you and your husband and your family for your family's service in the military. And I know that's a big sacrifice, not only for your husband, but as the actual service person, but for the family as well. And you guys moved and picked up and moved and this and that. But we're glad that at the end of the road.
And he's still volunteering. He's volunteering here this afternoon. So
good for
decided
him.
This is his new place to hang out.
Yeah.
Can I mention one other win?
Please do.
We worked very hard with making the Yellow Jackets whole again.
Yes.
What does
Amen.
That mean? The Yellow Jackets baseball league in West Tampa was displaced. The city of Tampa told a whole lot of fibs to Coach Wright during that time. And I went on a crusade for a year with support from the audience and everyone else. That they be made whole. They were put in East Tampa across from a cemetery with a messed up field. And no one would return Coach Wright's phone numbers or anything of that nature.
Wow.
And we got $1.5 million in the budget for them, and we're pushing it to make that field the best field it can be because they were displaced.
Good for you. Where are we talking about where in West Tampa? Because I know West Tampa.
Rome Yard.
I'm sorry.
They were. They were
by
across from the
Rome
MLK Center on Albany. Not Albany. Can't think of the street's name, but they were right across the street from behind Just Elementary.
Right. Because a lot of people think these days. A lot of people think of West Tampa as now being the Latin part of Tampa, but that is a traditionally African American part of Tampa up there near the river.
Correct.
It's changing a lot because that one project got knocked down. To be replaced by the other project there on Boulevard? No.
Yeah, Boulevard.
Off Boulevard. Now we've got a new Publix going in, so there's probably some gentrification going on.
A whole lot of gentrification.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But, again, we were told that, no kids are going to be back in that area. There were no, and you see the kids, right, with nothing to do. And the Yellow Jackets was much more than just baseball. That's where people ate. Coach Wright never charged a fee, still does not charge a fee for an application. They pay for play for free, and the concession stand he never changed the price on the hamburgers or the food.
Good for
because
him.
That's where people came and they would feed their families.
It's always a community
100%.
thing. I raised my kids out on Davis Island. We did the Little League thing. It's a community thing. You get to know your neighbors. I ran into a guy the other day. We used to coach Little League together 30 years ago. And it's a place to gather and to get together and to scream and yell and be obnoxious. My wife accused me of being an obnoxious dad on the baseball field. I'll never forget. I got to give a shout out to my son, but I'll never forget when I was coaching. And I'd come home hoarse, just like I am right now. I'd come home hoarse after every game because I'd be on the sidelines yelling, "Get the ball! Get the ball!"
And I want to thank council and the administration for stepping up. Council each time I've asked for something and so forth, it's unanimous, and I really, really appreciate that because they understand the importance of what that baseball league and field meant to the community.
Yeah. So you've been listening to Robin Lockett of Florida Rising. You can find their website as floridarising.org, and check it out. Join them if you like what you see. Stephanie Pointer, the president of Fan Tampa Homeowners Association Neighborhoods. Do you guys have a website too?
FanTampa.com.
Fan, THAN, as in
Tampa.
Nancy.
Yep.
FanTampa.com. And I look at you too. I teased you. You're neighborhood activists. You're community activists. You are not terrorists. You do talk to people. You don't scream and yell.
Yeah.
And it's one of the things that appealed to me about both of you when I was on council, because we could have an intelligent conversation and you could convey to me, what your members are feeling, what your members want.
Right.
And there's nothing more important to that. And that's why city council is so important, because people you don't have access to the mayor.
No.
Right.
But you have access to your council members.
Yes.
So anyway, listen, we appreciate you calling in. I'm sorry, Kelly and Eduardo, we didn't get to your call. We had too much to talk about. We were